Look, in this video, the topic that I'm about to talk about is arguably one of the most important things that you need to engrave into your brain if you truly want to become successful in this life, right? Anybody can become successful. I don't care what industry you're in. You can become successful in it as long as you have delayed gratification, right? What is delayed gratification? Well, it's the act of having delayed gratification. It's as simple as it sounds, right? If you are constantly pushing towards the next watch, the next car, the next big mansion, and thinking that it's going to come to you after 3 months of starting a business, you're completely wrong. You have to be focused on what's important right now. And that's the journey and building something that's sustainable. And now I'm going to give you a perfect example. When I first started my businesses a little over 3 years ago now, at just 15 years old, right? I thought I was going to be a millionaire by 17, right? And that did not happen. I'm still not a millionaire, but you have to have the delayed gratification in order to become successful. This content that I'm posting, YouTube doesn't pay me a single dollar, but I know that it will eventually. I know that eventually I will be getting paid by YouTube, right? But you have to be focused on what's important now, and that's staying consistent and building a reputable platform, right? If you don't do that, of course, YouTube's never going to pay you. And back in my early stages, I had zero focus on what was important. I always wanted to buy the next thing. And so that's when I bought a stupid Rolex, right? It was a stupid investment. I bought something that genuinely I did not need, right? It still holds its value, but it was something that I bought out of just pure impulse decisions. And it was one of the stupidest things I've ever bought. And don't get me wrong, it's a fucking sick watch, but it does me no purpose, right? I'm 18 years old. When people see an 18-year-old wearing a Rolex, they look at you and think you're a clown because most 18-year-olds cannot afford a Rolex, so it's honestly useless. And it's the same thing with cars, right? People who get their first $50,000, spend it on a Mercedes, and they blow almost all their money on a car, thinking that it's going to make them more money because they're going to be in an abundant mindset. But the truth is, you're just an idiot with your money and you have poor financial education. You need to be focused on building and investing back into yourself and your business, if you're running one, in order for you to grow and make millions of dollars rather than tens of thousands. And look, I get it. The internet portrays an image of overnight success. Everyone thinks that you're going to become successful after 2 months of starting an online business. They think you're going to make $500,000 after 6 months of running a business. But the truth is, the chances of that are very low. Now, you will make $500,000 if you stay consistent and build a real business. But if you don't do it with delayed gratification, knowing that eventually the things will come to you, you're going to get stuck in what I like to call the money loop. And the money loop is this idea that money is the most important thing when it comes to building a business. I want you to ask yourself this question. When Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook, right, in the early years, early 2000s, do you think he was focused on the money? It is famously noted that Mark Zuckerberg couldn't have cared less about money. Right? He was only focused on building the best social media platform at the time, which was Facebook. And now look, he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. If you focus on building something real, the money will follow you. And that's a guarantee, right? If you get into real estate thinking that you're going to make money within the first year, you're completely wrong. You might make a little bit, but you're not going to make a lot. You have to realize that it is a long-term game in order to build wealth. You can get rich quick, right? But you're not going to get wealthy quick. And when I say rich, you might be able to make a few $100,000 within the span of a few years. But if you want to build legitimate amounts of wealth, I'm talking $5, $10, $15 million net worths, you're going to have to realize that it takes decades. This game of life that we all play and we all want to become successful, most people don't realize, especially the young people, that it takes an insane amount of time. And you have to have delayed gratification. I swear by this. And it's the same thing with your health, right? If you're a fat person and you get in the gym, for the next 2 weeks, you're probably not going to see any progress. But if you stay consistent for the next 6 months, you definitely will. In life, the good things take time, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Alexander the Great didn't conquer in one single day. And look, I know you want the watch. I know you want the Lamborghini. I know you want that beautiful model wife. And I promise you, you'll get all those things. But it's just a matter of time. Don't focus on it now. Focus on what's important. Live below your means. Stay consistent with yourself. Build something real. And most importantly, stay healthy, right? If you're not healthy, none of this matters. If you have $1 billion, but you're fat and you can't get out of your car, you have nothing, right? And there's this one quote that I want to leave you guys with. Some people are so poor that all they have is money, right? If that's all that you have nothing. So with that being said, get in good shape, stay consistent with yourself, build something real, and have some delayed gratification, and realize that the success will come to you, but it's just a matter of time.